You're listening to the RMTV podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RMTV podcast. And this week there is two Prestos on. James Preston, Fox Sports anchor, Sky News weather presenter. How are you, mate?
Mate, very good. Two Prestons for the price of one. That's what we like.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a fun app, this one. So, mate, we'll dive into it. So we had a lot of dribble within the walls of Holt Street and Macquarie Park with work, and so not obviously outside of your work at Sky and Fox. Do a bit of commentating, mate. Tell us about your love for sport,
Mate, it's everything. You can probably see here. I don't know if it's
a
that
unique
clear,
one.
but-
What is that one?
So this is from Nottingham, England, for the Touch World Cup back in 2024. So touch, probably one of the main things I call. Only ever played, I don't know, maybe a handful of social games. So never played at that sort of elite level. But look, that's a real passion of mine, calling for that. I guess if you go further back, played soccer at a pretty good level, state futsal, so indoor soccer. But I've had probably more injuries than even Kyle and Chase Stanley at this point. I've got 3 ACLs I've torn on the left,
Oh my God.
one on the right, and there's almost nothing left in either knee.
So do you still play any sport, or you just dribble about it?
I can only go straight. So I can
Yeah.
go directly straight, or I can shift like a crab, but if I try and turn, it just collapses again.
Yeah, nice. So where did it all begin? Sydney boy?
Yeah, Sydney boy, not too far from where we are here. So
Yeah.
northwest of Sydney. I grew up in Glenhaven, Hills District, went to Oak Hill. So, good little league
Yeah, it
circle
is.
in Oak
Happy.
Hill, really. Pappenhausen, Luke Keary, Danica Mason was in my English class. So,
There you go.
yeah, small world.
So did you two bond over? No?
No, look, I get along quite well with Danica back then, but by the same token, if you're in, what school's like, if you're in different social groups, that's sort of it. So, always very pleasant, but no, I wouldn't have said we were chummy.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like, where'd your love for rugby league start? Was it just from as soon as you were born? Did you have to pick a team, or did a team land in your lap?
I wasn't one of the babies that was like put into the onesie with the colours, but
Your birth certificate wasn't like an NRL one?
no, I don't mind that though. I think that's another good little cash grab, but
Yeah.
I actually like that one. No, look, Dad was a Balmain Tigers supporter, and my nan, she had 4 teams. She had Knights, Panthers,
4 teams.
Eels, and Tigers. Yeah, it's where the wind took her, really. But look, she grew up in Balmain. Back when she was first there, though, it was not like it is now, not like an affluent spot. So her house actually had dirt floors in Balmain, crazily enough,
Dirt
back in like the
floors?
1930s. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
nuts stuff. So it was still sort of like a working class area back then. I think, obviously that's the roots of the game. So you have rugby league coming up in Balmain, but, Dad hopped into it. He loved it, and that was just passed on to me. And I would say I'm far more passionate now about the Tigers than he is. He doesn't know half the players in the side. He's like, who's that? Is he there last week? I was like, yeah, it's Fanua Bolle. He's there. It's like, what? Bolle? He's got a peanut.
Yeah, does it play into the fact that Tigers haven't been in a final since 2011? Is that why he's lost his passion? Or?
No, not at all. He's just old.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so like, even with the Tigers, like, were you at the grand final, 95? Or?
No, but I actually lost a tooth watching that grand final. So I would have been, 13, 14, and I was very nervous, as every Tigers fan was.
Yeah.
And, you had that late try, and I think it was, 24-16 with maybe 5 minutes to go, and Cowboys were on a real roll. And I remember chewing my fingers at the time and had a loose tooth. Actually popped the whole thing out. That's how nervous I was. And I kept that tooth for a few years, thinking it was a good luck sign.
So you were a young fella then?
Yeah.
So what, did you play rugby league growing up?
I played one game, I believe, because,
game?
if I go back right, so probably year 8 or so, I was always just a really tiny kid. So that was part of it. I was good at soccer, so I just sort of stuck with that.
Yeah.
But I went to watch a mate of mine from school. He was playing for Wenty Magpies Junior. So went down to have a look at their side, and I was thinking, where is he? Can't spot him on the bench anywhere, because he said he'd be coming off the bench. Turns out they actually needed 2 benches because they had these 3 big Polynesian prop forwards who were probably 130 kilos each at about 14, 15 years of age. And I looked at that, and my dad turned to me at the same time. He goes, if you go out there, you're going to die. So don't do that. So
It was the Parramatta comp growing up.
Yeah.
I did 9 years.
Yeah, right.
Just shy of my 10 years for Winston Hills Tigers. And we have Taylor Lasalu, plays for the Roosters.
Yep.
I played with him in that team. And then, my brother played as well. And then Emerson, the younger one, we got 10 years apart. He was born with the specs, so Dad thought maybe soccer's the way to go. And now he loves it. So he's
I
does his
look
Oz
at you
tag
as
as well.
a centre or a second rower.
Me? Oh well, I was a stick up until year 10. Before I was hitting the gym, I was like drooping like 50 kilos.
Yeah, right.
Right, and yeah, pretty much played for Winstow Centre. I think I had one game at fullback. I led in maybe 13 tries.
They got to beat 12 before they get to you.
Yeah, exactly. But I think wing went into centre. I think 1-2 comps, and then I played AFL. So for the Balkan Hawks. So AFL's alright. I can play it. I can't really watch it though.
No, look, I'm the same. The first thing I ever got paid to call was actually AFL. It was out at Camden for MacArthur Sports Radio. So shout out to Mike Sheen. But loathed every single second of it. I was probably already maybe 50, 60 metres from the boundary. And then, they're big field. So by the time it was heading to the other end of the oval, I guess you want to call it. Again, don't watch much AFL. It was like, 250 sort of metres away, and I couldn't see what was going on. I don't know the rules that well. Like it's not something that's ever really gone, hey, I love this and I want to watch it.
We're not from Victoria, mate. I call it Victorian leg tennis or just seagulls chasing chips. Because
aerial ping pong.
Yeah, aerial ping pong, that's a good one. But yeah, we versus Camden, they were very rough. They were that good of a club. They had Camden Blues and Camden White. The white team was shit house, but then the Blues would lose by like hundreds. But so tell me, how'd you did you know at a young age this media was going to be for you?
No, not at all. I used to be very shy, very introverted. So, nowadays my entire friendship group will say, well, he's probably the loudest one. He's the most unhinged as well. I probably came out of my shell when I was about 21 or so, and then I would have been maybe 2 or 3 years into my uni degree. I was doing a double degree of law and communications back then it was University of Western Sydney, not WSU.
Is that the one on Victoria Road?
Yeah, I was actually mainly at Warrington South.
Right, okay.
So out towards Penrith. But the law stuff was at Parramatta.
Yeah, okay.
So, just sort of a bit disillusioned with the degree, and I was like, what am I doing? Do I really want to be a lawyer? I got the marks for it, so I thought I'd try my hand at it.
There you go.
I remember having like a quarter-life crisis, chatting to Mum, being like, what the hell do I do? And she just said, well, look, I've got a friend who's running a show out at Alive 90.5, which is, not too far from where we are here.
Yeah, Borker Mills, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a few mates that have been out at Live.
Yeah, and so she just gave him a call and said, why don't you just sit in, see if you like it, see if that's something that plays to your interests. And, mind you, I'd probably just come out of my shell at that point, but growing up I wasn't super chatty or anything. And sort of sat in, and then out of nowhere he started interviewing me on the spot, and I was like, what am I doing here? I was just thinking I was watching along. And his name's Dr. Jim Taggart. He's a wonderful mentor as well, great bloke. And he asked me this quite loaded question of, in a changing world that we're seeing at the moment and the way that we communicate, how is that all playing out with different roles of media? And I just pulled this answer out of my ass, being like, well, you see, Jim, in an age of convergence, we've got social media and all this sort of stuff. And he was like, and just sort of kept asking me questions until they threw to the break. And then the chairman who was in there at the time, Tony, I can't remember his last name, he barged open the door the moment we went to a break and said, who are you? I went, James, you got a great voice, you're articulate, do you want to stick around? I was like, okay.
And then the next week you were hosting the show.
Well, next week I was doing the weather and the panels for him on that show, and then about 3 or 4 weeks later they gave me my own show, which was a hip-hop show. So,
and that was before you went into the comms degree at Western Sydney Uni?
No, so I was already in that at that time.
So that's kind of like your foot in the door, you went to Alive, and then from there, what year was that, if we're looking at a timeline?
Oh, probably 2013, 2014, something like that.
Okay, cool. And then so from there, did you make the move up to Port Macquarie? I did my research.
Yeah, you have done your research. That was, I'll tell you what, that was a while from that point. So I actually ended up running Alive 90.5 for about a year after that point. So I'd volunteered for a few years and, done that hip-hop show, and I'd sort of filled in on breakfast here and there, but just while I was doing my degree and then working elsewhere, I had a couple of sort of PR jobs that I was doing part-time and things like that. And then that opportunity came up and they wanted someone young to do it. And I think I was 24 or 25 and at the time the youngest radio manager in the country, I think, which was pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
Did that for a while, and I liked the experience. And that was probably more politics than it was radio, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Trying to manage different factions who want control in the community radio sphere and things like that. Working with sponsors and the community, and catching up with the mayor and being like, oh, this is what we're trying to implement. How can we help with that kind of thing? So that was interesting. And then along the way, I did maybe 1 or 2 calls just for New South Wales Cup. Used to have an affiliation with Wenty. Yeah. I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, like I'd always loved sport, but that's sort of where the radio thing started, and then worked for a little bit of time at Greyhound Racing as their comms manager. And
Winnie Park.
Yeah, we actually we had the introduction of the $1 Million Chase. That was when I was there. So
wow, is that when it kicked off?
Yeah, that was the first year. So I had a lot of, I guess, work to do in terms of promoting that, which was good fun. And we had the Golden Easter Egg as well, so that was a big one. And we actually ran a thing called Wenty's Got Talent, and I managed to get essentially 6 weeks of a lead in of all those trial races heading into the big Group 1 thing. And we got basically 6 weeks of entertainment for $5,000, which we had all these great talent pulling from all these different spots. And fun fact, the girl that came second, Larissa Lambert, is now actually a major pop star in the US. So she's got billboards on the NASDAQ Times Square and all that sort of stuff. So she's done very well off the back of it.
She can thank you for that.
Not quite. But, interesting that she couldn't actually win that competition. We had this great opera singer guy that won it.
Yeah, wow. So, it sounds like you've had your finger in a lot of pies from Port to the Greyhounds. And so the commentating, was that always, you said you were a bit shy as a kid. So were you standing in front of the telly trying to be like Ray Warren, or not really, Not really. I think mine is probably a sort of weirder one. So I just used to be like such a little fitness fanatic, like just running around kicking a ball all day. I was like a Labrador. So what I actually liked, and I've always been a bit of a traditionalist, I was a Balmain fan growing up. The merger happened. I'm happy with West Tigers now, but I also didn't like that Magpies disappeared. I didn't like that Illawarra Steelers disappeared, that Newtown disappeared really before I was born, or the Bears went away. Bears were my second team. We'll have a good chat about this later. It's the expansion.
But as part of that, I would go up the top, and I actually just decided to make my own competition. It was no longer the NRL. It was the ANRL, the All NRL is what I like to call it. And for every team I had, 20 players that I'd just developed, and each player would have their own sort of unique running style. So it'd make me kicking the ball around a bit more interesting. I could pass it to another player. Now he's fast. This one likes a big shoulder charge. And whilst I was doing it, running around, I'd just sort of start commentating that. It'd be off to Hirth, now finds Zanes, inside for Preston. Put myself into it.
Oh, I used to do the same. I think mates would get annoyed if I was either trying to ref a game or commentate one. They'd just tell me to shut up. But yeah, it is unique that I remember, especially Ray Warren. You can't get any better than that. Personally, I think he's the greatest NRL commentator of all time. Don't mind a bit of Dan Grenade like the current ones. Who do you think stands out for you at the minute?
I think best of the current crop would be Warren Smith. I love him. I just think he's so smooth with how he flows with it. Rab's probably the best of all time. I actually thought probably even 5 years before Rabs retired was, in my opinion, have probably overtaken him. I think just with
5 years before he retired?
Yeah, I think name recognition, especially with some of the Polynesian players coming in, I think Rabs struggled a little bit with that. With that said, I do agree with you. I think at his peak, Rabs is the best caller I've ever heard. Just a great voice, and one that's synonymous with the game. When you hear Rab's voice, you either think of rugby league or swimming.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's swimming as well during the Olympics. I think. What Olympics was it? Sydney 2000?
Oh, pretty much all the old
ones. Yeah,
it
would have been. Yeah.
Didn't like to fly, but by the time they had those remote things coming in, he would hop on that as well.
He's from around here. I think he's up in Castle Hill.
He is, yeah. There was a game I went to last year, I think it was, Tigers and Eels, maybe on Easter Monday, and we popped back into the Borkham Hills Bolo, and Rabs was there next to on the table having dinner.
Yeah, so. That's his local, the Hills Bolo.
Yeah.
If you're ever going to find, we can't reveal it to everyone, but there's his local. So commentating, right? What's the preparation look like? Do you just fluke it? Or do you have your endless pieces of paper with all the names, especially some of these names? Yeah. Currently,
look, I'm a print off person, so I I'll dob New South Wales Touch in here a little bit. So probably 18 months ago, they wanted to switch to, hey, here's an iPad with your up-to-date team list.
Yeah.
Didn't want to borrow it. So that lasted about one game, and then I said, nah, come on, bring the paper back. But
yeah. The paper is traditional. You're a traditionalist.
Well, I find it better for retention too, right? Like I'm not a Kindle kind of person. If I'm going to read a book, I want a book. I want a tangible, something I can turn over. But it'll probably depend in terms of the sport that I'm calling. So if it's touch, there's not much prep I can do for it really. You know, you might have for a state cup, for example, I might call 18 games in 3 days and I'll have 600 players I'm looking at. There's no way that a human being can possibly retain that much information. For league, that's pretty extensive, the research I do for that. So 18th Man, Rugby League Project, those are two great resources. I'll hop into those. I want to go back. I want to see who your junior club was. Do you have a weird, quirky story? Have you done something outside of the sport? And I'll always, have at least 2 to 3 lines. I don't want to go overboard. So it's something I can quickly rattle off. Hope to remember it, but if I can't, it's there. Double-sided print, flick over. There's my one team, other team over there. And, in particular, if I'm doing a call for Fox League, I try and do it for all of them, but there's just not enough time in the week, given I work as well. But for that one, I will meticulously, on the Tuesday, that comes out, I memorize the numbers, the players, the names, get the phonetics down, and I will write it up to 50 times, and I'll get the partner as well. Britt will test me. Yeah. Okay, who's number 2 on the Magpie side?
That's I do like that way you go about it. I'm the same. You got to write it down, even at work, like in journalism. I feel like once you're into a story and you write something down, you'll just remember it. It's a skill that it takes time, but once you pick it up, it's good to have, because sometimes like you listen to a commentator and they'll say this really quirky thing like, I think Ray Warren actually said something about, Daniel Tupou, like when he was a kid, Immeration tried to take his family home back to, I think, Tonga or something. But it's unique like that. I think you have a lot of commentators now trying to make it where you got to have those things in place. I think it really polishes your call.
Well, it helps with the padding too. Excuse me. So I think Matty Russell in particular is really good at that. He does a lot of great research, comes out with these fun little facts that he'll put in there. But, you'll prepare a lot of stuff that will never go to air. So it just might not have the moment for it.
Just in case.
Yeah, and like, if a player scores a try, now I've got 60 seconds to pad before I can throw to a co-caller, or if I'm doing it by myself, they're going to go through the goal kick, and there's only so much you can say, he's 2 meters from the sideline, 23 meters back, there's a slight wind floating about. What can I fill in there to, 1, inform the audience, 2, entertain them, 3, maybe it's quirky. The game I did on the weekend, for example, Storm and Magpies, there was a great stat there which I could drop in. It was Magpies' first ever game at Amy Park. They'd played there 5 times across 48 years. They'd never won anywhere in Victoria. Wow. And that Fibros v Silvertails war that started back in 1978 in St Kilda, of all places, against Manly. So like that, for me, that's like fun context.
Yeah, that's good.
If I'm tuning in, maybe I don't watch the New South Wales Cup all the time. That's actually really cool because the Magpies don't exist at the top level anymore.
And something like that, even at the pub, someone might hear that. And then all of a sudden it's pub chat.
It's a very unique trivia question.
Yeah, that is unique. And like, even I find like some commentators, in terms of like pronouncing names, who do you think just nails it?
I think they're all pretty good now.
Yeah. Do you think Blocker's up there?
I've got a mate that he cannot stand listening to Blocker. I quite like Blocker.
Yeah, I think he's
fun.
He's fun for the game.
Yeah.
Like, I think even he knows, I think sometimes he's like, Marky Mark. I'm not going to pronounce.
Have a crack now. I want to hear it.
Who?
Marky Mark.
I think I'll give myself a 9 out of 10. Mark Nwakanitawase.
Or Nwanga Nitawase.
Well, there you go. You get 10 out of 10
that
for that
Q
one.
with Fijian turns into like a G sort of sound.
Yeah. That's probably the toughest one at the minute. Who do you think? What's a challenging few names? I mean,
I'll tell you the worst
Tino's
one I ever had.
I can't do Tino.
Fasua Malawi. Was it
Fasua
Malawi. That's the one. Yeah.
Hopefully pronounce that right.
Mate, the worst one I ever had was calling the Emerging Nations Rugby League World Championships back in 2018, which in itself is a mouthful.
Yeah.
I had Hong Kong v Turkey, and he was a prop forward, and his last name was...
League?
Yeah. Mate, Turkey were good. Turkey were quite good. I think it was Jared Samet playing for them, or maybe it was Malta. Anywho, but this player for Hong Kong, his last name was Extakabukaruku. Try saying that quickly when he's on the burst.
Yeah, especially inside border, Exakabukaruku back on the outside, back again.
Exactly. Had a great 5'8" Ringo
Did he have a
Lung.
nickname?
Ah,
Exy or something?
No, well, the problem is too, again, you sort of rock up to a game and you've got 3 in the day. It's not like when you've got league and you've got the whole week to prepare for it for the NRL. Like for these tournaments, you're seeing 50 games in a week. So,
yeah. You're not going to have the whole life story written down.
No, exactly. And that is the challenge as well I think it's far more difficult to call a Jersey Flegg game or a New South Wales Cup game than is the NRL. If I just flick it on, I don't have to look at a team sheet. I can see who's running and I could call it from that.
It's a bit more mainstream.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So all right, so outside of footy, how'd you land yourself at News Corp, Sky News and Fox Sports News? Was that at the same time or?
So, look, the long and the short of it is the whole sort of media journey started with the live. And then once I finished at Greyhound Racing, I spent 3 weeks at a job that I could not stand. Loathed it. It was
what was it? Was it?
I was the world's longest title. It was the Communications and Marketing Manager for the Community Broadcasting Association of Australia.
All these long worded associations here.
Shocking. And look, I just felt like I had done no work at all in those 3 weeks. And then when I told them an opportunity came up to do the breakfast show in Goulburn for Eagle FM, which is where Timmy Gilbert started as well. So I've had a few good people come through there. And I really wanted it. I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a test. I know it's out of my comfort zone, leaving Sydney, leaving that support network, but if I want to have a crack at this is as good a shake as any. It's 2 hours from Sydney. I can come back, see my ex-partner that I had at the time. That was a long-term relationship. I was like, you know what, they all sort of align. Let's have a crack at it. And when I told them, hey, I've got the job, they want me on air in 2 weeks, so can I kind of forego the notice because I've got to go sort out a house and everything. They're like, oh, we're so sad that you're going, you've done such great work here. But I felt I had done nothing in 3 weeks.
It's sometimes you do jobs where their level, their standard of work, you just think, like their bare minimum, right? And you're sitting there going, have I done enough today?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, and that's what I got told at uni as well. It's like, look, either you got to go out to the regions to get your start, you got foot in the door. That's all I was hearing.
Yes.
You would have probably heard the same.
Well, that was Goulburn.
Yeah.
That was starting there, and that was 9 months or so, and a really good experience. I've got fond memories of it. Goulburn is a tough place to live at times, though. I remember my second week there, I'd bought all this secondhand furniture to fill the house, and part of that was a fridge, which I actually had up until last year, so it lasted a while.
Sometimes those old school fridges, there's one over there, that thing's been there since the 90s, isn't it?
It's also telling me that I might need to get my eyes checked too. Local optometrist bulk bill eye testing.
Yes, FDS Specs, proud sponsor of the RMTV podcast.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So we'll give it a cheeky plug.
But yeah, look, second week down there, and I was in the kitchen cooking with a snow jacket on because it's that cold. And I opened the fridge, going, okay, I need a bit of cheese for this pasta bake I'm making. I put my hand and go, oh shit, no, thinking that the fridge is dead. It's actually -8 in the kitchen, so it was warmer in the fridge.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's very cold down. I've only driven through Goulburn. I've never really stopped.
Did you stop at the pie place?
No. When I go on road trips, I kind of like to go A to B, and I'll just hold on to the piss until I get.
Oh mate, right next to the big marina. I can't remember the name of the pie shop. Trappers Bakery. Great pies.
I've gone. Last time I was down south, we stopped at a Dog on a Tugger Box in.
Is that Gunnedah?
Gunnedah,
yeah.
Yeah. So that little small town there. But back to the
so tangents galore.
Goulburn,
then to I got poached by Grant Broadcasters, who have now been bought by ARN. So I then went and did a duo brekkie show at Power FM in Nowra, and that was about 3 months. And then I shifted to slightly later in the morning doing a music shift, and from there went across to Triple M with SCA up in Port Macquarie, and I was there for about 15 months, and I loved Port. Beautiful place.
Yeah, I've been there endless amount of times. Nana Popper up there, just south of Port, Bonny Hills. Beautiful pocket of the world, just get out of the sticks in Sydney. And it's nice, and it is a small town, but they've got like the NBN up there.
Yeah,
so
7 as well.
Yeah, 7,
Prime
7. So how long were you there for?
So I was doing a backfill maternity contract. So initially it was meant to be, I think, like 10 months. And then the woman who was doing that took a bit longer. So I was there for about 15 months, potted around for maybe 2 or 3 months. I was also doing another side gig with an app that's now defunct called the Port app, which was all just like local news.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, along the way, this is actually how I got involved with Touch too. They always have their state cup in Port Macquarie. So I went along to the press conference there and was like, hi, do you need a commentator? And they're like, yeah, actually we do. I was like, cool, I work for the local radio station. Great, hi, do you want $500 a day? I was like, sounds awesome.
How much a day?
$500 a day.
Damn, that's pretty
It's
good.
pretty good at the time, right? Because you're there doing, radio. It's not very well paid. A lot of people think it is, but I think my contract at the time was $60,000. So for me, that was good cash.
There is a perception that like everyone in media gets paid like, enough money to buy a Rolls Royce, but it's just not the case.
I did look at Rolls Royces the other day, actually.
Yeah, well,
trying to see a baller on a budget. You can get them for $17,000. Not bad.
Yeah, what was it? A Hot Wheels one?
No. A 1978, something like that.
Oh, damn. Well, there you go.
One to look into.
You might. What are you driving at the minute?
Lexus.
Oh, so maybe might have to upgrade to the Rolls one day.
Unless it's the Phantom, mate. We'll steer clear of the Rolls.
It is funny you mentioned Port, like companies buying out each other. I feel like that's where it's going. I feel a lot of like regional stations all getting swallowed up by the big dogs.
There's not many left now, so I think the Super Network, they've had a lot of chopping and changing. I think they're actually looking at potentially selling the whole thing now. I forget his name, but the father essentially was his radio empire, and the siblings have now taken over that. Obviously, ARN has been buying up all the different Grant broadcaster stations. SCA's now got that merger with Seven West Media. So, yeah, it's all getting into a bit of a conglomerate, really. But, I mean, look, there's still opportunities. Whilst I was up there, I started doing, you've probably heard of them, Ticker News.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up doing like a comedy sort of news segment once or twice a week for them. I'd find just bizarre stories and start talking about that. And funnily enough, there was a CEO of a finance company called Canal Sawney. So Canal, hello. And he runs Kalkine Media. And he happened to be watching at one point. He said, well, he basically found me on LinkedIn, messaged me saying, I really enjoy your segments on there. I'd actually like to build the channel around you with this finance thing I'm doing down here. I was like, cool. Gets me back to Sydney. My contract had finished at that point. Came down, started doing like 2 or 3 days a week, was working at the traffic network as well, doing those reports, and then
that's unique, isn't it? Traffic reporting.
Hated it. I really did, because the bulk of it, right? So it looks like it's done from the chopper. Only one person's going up in the chopper. Everyone else that's doing the reports, we're looking at Google Maps, and Traffic New South Wales website. So if you're getting a report, we don't have eyes on it.
It's like
that's the simple truth of it.
livetraffic.com. And
exactly. We're just repeating what you could see if you wanted to.
So you never made it to the chopper.
I went up, I think once or twice, and it was really cool, like having a look at the city. But when I arrived, it was off the back of another COVID lockdown. So they had this stupid rule where you could have 2 people in the chopper, but not 3. Even though, you're already within that 5 meter space. So what does it matter at that point? You've already breached it.
Yeah, it's some of those. I look back on some of the rules and think, geez, wasn't that?
It was all dumb. It was probably the dumbest period in human history.
I think so. And I think it's going to be really hard for any government to like try and push that back on people.
It won't happen. Honestly, I think if they do it again, and rightfully so, there'll be just mass protests in the street. Nobody paying attention to any of the
It'd be like
the
waving
warnings.
the mask. Not for me. Not for me. You know what I mean?
Burn the mask.
Oh, like just people, like maybe indoors, people had a mask on, fair enough. But this guy's like walking his dog by himself with a mask on out at a park. It's like, come on, man.
I still see it with people driving in their cars with all the windows up by themselves wearing the mask. And I'm just, who are you protecting at that point? Are you protecting the ventilation system of the car?
That they may have like a TDS or something like.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you're back at Sydney. Was it good to be back home?
Yeah.
Was Port? Did you love Port? But did it get a bit?
I'll tell you what. With Port, it was a tough thing to leave. So I think I left when I was about 29, and I sort of again said to my partner at the time, like, I could retire here in the next few years.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of lifestyle. And
it is.
at the
it's
time,
really cruisy.
I had a 4-bedroom house there for like $450 a week, and it was backed onto a nature reserve. Like, it was awesome, giant, like deck over the top so you could watch the deers and the wallabies and stuff pop through. And, you know, you only needed to work sort of 2 days a week and you could afford that, another 2 days a week at part-time. And now you've got all your, your
It's all
food,
covered,
your groceries.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, that's just me. Add a partner into that, add housemates. And I had 2 housemates in there as well, and it was big enough that you never really saw them. So rent was almost covered by their sub-renting.
So you're cheering.
Yeah. And I was like, it's too easy though. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but there was more things I wanted to do.
Bit of a challenge awaiting. So then Sky kicked off. Was that, what year was that? How long have you been at Sky?
Sky, just over 4 years now. So I spent roughly a year at the finance channel, and you know that was good fun. That was a really good learning experience. You know, fronting the camera every day. Up until that point, had been all radio, and I'd just done a few bits and bobs here on TV. I was the Doors Plus guy at one time, so that was fun.
Really?
Yeah, we can come back to that. But if you remember the voice, Doors Plus, no fuss. And they're clicks, right?
Yeah, that is pretty good. I reckon you've got a few other impersonations, obviously.
That's not an impersonation. That's me.
Yeah, well, that's bad.
But yeah, no, I was there for like a year at the Finance Network, and then I'd actually applied when I was up in Port Macquarie for a vacancy came up for it. I think it might have been casual or part-time at the time. And I did the screen test, and on my radio shows across Goulburn and Nowra, I used to have Vanessa O'Hanlon, who was at the time fronting like 9 News Country kind of thing. They had this big sort of syndicated broadcast. And her background had been as the weather presenter at the ABC for like 8 years. So she would hop on there, and we had a pretty friendly relationship. And then I was going for this thing. I had the interview went well, so they went, okay, let's have a screen test. Preparing for that, and I remember washing my car because for some reason I thought that would help me with the interview as well.
Just to do things. Right?
Yeah, I was like, you know, well, first impressions, not realizing they would actually not look at the car. Anyway, I called up Vanessa and I was like, hey, you got any tips for this thing? And she's like, sorry, where is this job again? I was like, oh, it's the screen test for Sky News Weather. She's like, I'm also doing that. I think we should end this call. Oh. So as it turned out, and Tom Saunders, you probably know Tom, he was in charge of the channel at the time. He's now at the ABC. Tom's very funny how he talks to you as well. There's almost like a disconnect between emotion sometimes and logic for him. And it went quite well. I was very nervous. I remember fumbling around with my earpiece. I couldn't get it in. And he was like, do you want me to do it? I was like,
this is like the first time.
Yeah, first time. Yeah. And it still went pretty well. And I remember the clicker also didn't respond properly at one point, and I had to keep rolling. And he actually said, you know, you did well to just keep going. Anywho, long story short, didn't get the job, but he said, you were so close on the phone. You came second. I was like, why are you telling me this? What are you doing?
If you're not first, you're last.
Exactly. And like it popped up another 1 or 2 times. And again, I'd applied for it and I didn't hear back this time. I was like, okay. And then I think the next time it rolled around, maybe 2 or 3 after that point, because I had a bit of turnover at the time. Yeah. I actually just sent Tom a text directly and said, right, should I just wait till you fire another person, or are you going to give me another crack here? It's like very cheeky text that I sent him. He actually laughed and he said, come back in. And did the screen test, and that one I felt I nailed it. And he actually said to me at the time it was the strongest screen test they'd had.
That's good.
So that was good. And then, started there, mainly weekends. And then after about a year at the finance thing, I was sort of juggling both. And and then I sort of spoke to Sky. I was like, hey, can I get a bit more involved? And left the finance channel and sort of went out into the scary world of freelancing, which I hadn't done up until that point, with really only, you know, the possibility of, say, 2 weather shifts a week. But yeah, just sort of backed myself and found a few things along the way. And then Fox Sports happened about a year later when I was like, well, look, I love sport. And just sort of asked internally, hey, do they have any room for another casual to come on board? Obviously, you know, I love it. That's sort of my bread and butter. And did a screen test there, and that went well, and the rest is history. I've been now at Weather for 4 years, Fox Sports for 3 years.
So it's probably a bit of a rhetorical question, but sports is probably what you like presenting more than weather, or?
I
remember watching some of your weather crosses. You really got into it, you know. Like
I do like it, and I think that's the thing, right? So for me, if I had to tier it, it'd probably be actually pointing at the maps and talking about the weather is my favourite thing across both channels. Yeah. Then probably anchoring sport, and then anchoring weather. And I think that comes back down to just like that creative sense. And for me, talking about the weather, that's the closest to commentating, which is the thing I love the most. Yeah. So I think that's how it works in my brain. I love them all, but if I had to tier them, probably that.
add a bit of rugby league flair to it. You know, this Lowe's running a bit of shape up towards Queensland.
Oh, mate, look at you go.
Who knows? Maybe one day. So like what? So a lot of when I first went to uni, I was doing teaching. I was 2020 COVID year, finished high school, uni, and then I just said to Dad, I'm like, I can't do teaching. In the back of my head, I always wanted to do like media, sports. Like, if I wasn't going to make it for the Roosters, I may as well. I ended up doing an internship with the Roosters, so there you go. But yeah, and I just said, look, I'm going to do Bachelor of Communications, go there, and didn't get too much advice as you go along. I feel like you just got to back yourself. But what's some advice you'd give like a young kid, even in high school, because there's science, there's history, there's English, but there's no like media courses. No, they're not big. So what would you say to a kid wanting to become a journo or even like an anchor?
I think first and foremost, find out what you want to do. I spent a lot of time floundering as to what I would like to do. From that point onwards, I think definitely for me anyway, I've learned more just trying it, doing it, as opposed to, you can sit there in a lecture hall and have people tell you the theory about it all you like or do a tutorial, but actually getting out there, and especially for commentary, right, you just have to start. Yeah. And if you're not going to start, whether it be social media, again, I'm not huge on socials just because I feel I'm old. No one cares what I say anymore anyway. So, it seems like a very Gen Z thing, but I would like to get more into it because I know that's where it's moving, right? So
it's a good portfolio.
Yeah. And just hop up in front of the camera, do what you're doing, start a podcast, hop on radio. Like for me, that was my avenue at the time before social media was really a super big thing. Find what you like, hammer down on it, and just try things. That's the simple thing. You're not going to know unless you give it a go. And I think the best sort of advice, I don't know if it was given to me or if I found it, but the difference between successful people and other people is that the successful person will ask more questions. They'll probably get more answers they don't like, but they're also going to get more answers that will lead them to where they want to go.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's what would you say? What about, have you taken feedback on board, especially from an audience? Like I've received my fair share of emails at Sky, and I think we can agree you build a bit of a thick skin after a while. So what would you say to like kids, a bit scared like to become a public figure, or is it just?
See, that's a tough one though, because it's really different. I don't know how much I consider myself a quote unquote public figure or just someone who is a media professional. I think that's probably the more accurate one. Like a Joe Rogan, for example, is a public figure or
A-grade public figure.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? He's there based on his opinion. So very different. If you look at Sky After Dark, they're not being measured by, say, how well they read a teleprompter, right? It's what is their ideology, what is their thought process. So, yeah, again, just have a crack is the simple thing. But in terms of developing the thick skin, when I first started calling New South Wales Cup, they used to have a different thing where it would be live streamed on Facebook. So you could see the comments roll through in real time if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And the big thing I would then point out to anyone is that it is always easier to criticize than it is to do. So if you want to have a crack at someone, let's see how you go then.
Yeah, it's like rugby league players. I love when some of the players I'll put on Instagram, this bloke said, you've lost my multi and stuff.
Which is so sad, by the way. It's sad.
Angus Crichton, he's done a few of them. He'll call them out and he'll just say, you lost my multi. You fucking, you should have scored 2 tries, mate. What are you doing? Meanwhile, this kid's just had a kid, he's playing for the Chooks. You just laugh. He's probably behind the telly in mum's basement with a VB in hand. Like, who knows?
Yeah. And I'll tell you this much as well. Like, just in some of the fun things I've done, like I was hosting Beach Rugby Australia for probably 3 or 4 years. And that has a lot of the old former players. So like Anthony Tupou's played, Keith Galloway.
Yeah. Was that up at Townsville?
All over the shop.
Yeah, okay.
Townsville included. Newcastle, like Lottie Takiri, he was the ambassador for a long time. Now, Kurt Gidley, and that's why I bring him up. So I was very critical of Kurt as a viewer when I was watching State of Origin. I thought he was a phenomenal player for the Knights, but he never sort of kicked on at Origin. I remember pulling my hair out sometimes being like, Kurt, what have you done? Yeah. What's going on? But, and this is the thing where, we talk about it being, don't criticize unless you can do better. Kurt is one of the nicest people I've ever met. So he was willing to give his time to anybody and everyone for like an hour after the event had finished. Like, come up, get a photo, sign your autograph. Oh, do you need a chat with me after? If you do, just let me know. Comes out, does the interview, you name it. Like, just a really solid human being. And that's the thing, right? We look at them on the screen, we look at them playing footy, and we go, oh, they're a footballer. Person behind it.
No, that's 100%. Like, even, big character, Jeremy Hargraves, JWH, right? And, everyone thinks he's a big grub, blah, blah, blah. And when I was working at the club at the time, he was just the nicest fella. He was caring, like how are you? How's your family? He'd go that one further, and it just shows, what happens on the field stays on the field, right?
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by FDS Eyewear. FDS Eyewear is your one-stop shop for quality, affordable eyewear. With the latest lens technology and weekly eye testing services, FDS Eyewear provides competitive rates over the larger optical retailers. Visit their store at Wentworthville Plaza, just a short drive from Parramatta.
Rolling a rugby league. So you mentioned Balmain earlier. So you're glad they're emerging now?
Glad's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Look, I
think they had no choice financially.
Well, look, I mean, it's the West Tigers, and it has been for more than a quarter of a century now. So it's irrelevant. Is it Balmain? Is it Western Suburbs? Like, it's a merged team, and the NRL has the license. It's not going to split apart again. And quite frankly, like, I just look at it as they're the Tigers to me. And I don't care. I'm quite happy, you know, that the Magpies are there. They were a great team too. Struggled toward the end, but again, I like loyalty. I like tradition. I like the foundations of the sport.
So when I say West Tigers, name me three things that just relate so well to the Tigers.
Losing your hair too early. Unpredictability would be another one.
The eighth.
Oh, mate, Leichhardt.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's no better venue.
I've never watched a game there.
What?
No. I'm slowly ticking off my stadium.
Push it to the top of the list. You've got. I think there's a game against the Titans soon. Go to that one.
Yeah, that could be right. I did Gosford, Polytech Stadium. Considering it's only, I think, 26 or so years old, I think it needs some work. They had
beautiful stadium.
Beautiful stadium, but like they had the one screen at one end. They could put maybe another one up. The lines were lengthy, but at the end of the day, it's suburban footy, right? You have to expect that. And then I think GIO Stadium, that's the next one I'm going to tick off.
See, I would love to. I think in terms of my ranking of them, I haven't been to many games at Newcastle, but I think that's an awesome stadium, and just the supporter base of the Knights is so good.
That's a great suburban ground. The stands, they're like that, perfect. You've got the hill, similar to when I went to Mount Smart last year in Auckland.
Oh, you've been to Mount Smart? So
that's
I haven't
a great
done that.
Stadium. They are. I think when the footy season's on at one end, they'll construct this massive stand, right? And that's when Chooks lost. We lost to the Warriors, and this whole thing was shaking. And I'm like, this scaffolding's about to collapse. But rest assured, we were fine. But the Waz fans, friendliest fans out of all in the NRL, I'm sure. Shark Park, the Sharkies fans.
The funny thing is, right, I've been to a lot of these stadiums without actually watching the Tigers. So I'll call other teams from them. Like Shark Park. I mean, I went there a couple of times last year to call Schoolboys and Harvey Norman Women's Premiership.
Yeah. Does Talara Bamblett ring a bell? Is that a name?
Bamblett does.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you the first name off the top of my head. But again, that's a good fun venue. But I've actually never watched Tigers play there.
Yeah, well, I think they played there last week.
Let's not talk about that one.
So let's talk. So, but besides the 2005 Grand Final, what's some of the greatest called games you've ever heard? Like a finals game. What's a few that stand out for you?
As in commentated?
Yeah, commentated. Like there's just that one line. Like for example,
Warren Smith, easy. Roosters South. You can take me now. I've seen it all. I remember. Like again, I'm a Tigers fan. I was losing my marbles in my living room. I was jumping up and down, and that was the same year that they had the sort of switch. Roosters won one of them.
Yeah, 2012.
At the end, yep, and South won the other. Both games were just incredible.
Was that the Roosters win that one? Or was that when Reynolds scored?
Reynolds, yeah. Reynolds!
But then the other one was good as well.
They were both great. Like, and, you know, so that to me is an enduring call. I don't know. There's probably people who are more commentary nerds, so to speak, than me. I just like doing it.
Yeah.
It's not so much a case of, I can't tell you an old school Graham Hughes call.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure he's been floating about.
Neither could I.
But, I've got another mate called Cutters, and he commentates and does a very good job too. And, he lives for it. He's got the old VHSs of those games. He's got he can tell you, which game back in 1981 who was on a call and things like that. And John O'Farr as well. I know he's been involved in the sport for a long time. So those two, for example, they're your go-tos for that. But I don't know, for me, I like the contest. I think the best game I've seen recently, at least in the last 12 months, was Easter Monday, Tigers Eels. I thought that was a phenomenal game.
Yeah, that was
not just because we won, but just it was good footy. But probably the best game overall, Game 3 of Origin 2024. That was a cracker. It was just
Queensland win? Who won that one?
I think we won that.
Luai. Yeah, flicked it. Bradman Best scored that.
But it was just brutal. And that's what I think is missing now. And same with the 2023 grand final, Panthers Broncos. Just the intensity. It was awesome. And that I think is what we're sort of missing a touch with the Six Again.
Well, yeah, let's Six Agains. I sometimes wake up and have a nightmare of the ding, ding, ding. It's just, if you watch that much footy, some games are just unbearable. Even I'm watching the Chooks and you just sit back, you bite your tongue and think, how was that another Six Again? Do you think it's just they've gone a step too far? I thought last year was a lot better. I don't know. I feel like even the scores just reflect what.
Well, the problem is, right, so because in theory, the Six Again is less of a penalty than blowing the whistle and kicking a ball 30 metres upfield and getting a set restart from, say, the opposition 40 instead of in your own half. I think now, because we have that concept that it's not as important, getting the extra few tackles, referees are more inclined to blow them. So they'll go, all right, that's another set restart. And it might be something so minute, something so minuscule that previously it wouldn't be called, but because there's not that constant lens on it anymore, it means that we don't have the scrutiny. So we can get away with going it again. And what that's done is it's turned momentum from the team with, say, a better kicking game. Reynolds, for example, can turn a game with one kick. It now turns into, okay, well, who does the referee feel as being slightly more egregious in that ruck? Who can I ping more? And then you see that massive roll-on. I mean, that's what happened to the Tigers a couple of weeks ago against the Sharks. 18-10 at half time. It was tight. And then you just got this constant flow of possession. And I think it's more impactful than getting the penalty because all of a sudden you're doing 10 tackles, fatigue is increased, it's all rolling through the middle, the big boys can't turn around. So then you've totally shifted momentum, not through gameplay, but potentially through the whistle.
Do you think the game's it's too fast now?
I wouldn't even say it's too fast. It's that relentless onslaught. There's no way to fight back against it.
Yeah.
And I think that's removed a lot of the genuine contest. And again, that's why I sort of referenced that 2023 grand final because I think it was Adam G, the referee maybe.
Yeah, and everyone praised him,
Yeah, and he put the whistle away. And so it just turned into a war of attrition, which I think is one of the really good things about rugby league. Who can grind the other one down? And as long as it's high-quality footy, there's not a lot of drop ball. That grind is actually really good to watch.
That's for the rugby league purists, right? Everyone loves that. Maybe we're Villanders is trying to get in new viewers to say, look, it's so fast-paced, et cetera, but...
watch touch then.
Yeah, exactly. Watch touch. Is the game becoming like touch? But, yeah, even the Origin up at Suncorp when the Blues won, and Moses was steering the ship with Luai, that was a grind.
Yeah.
That was a great grind
until... It was a great watch because it felt intense.
Yeah, and I think half-time, there was not even a point... I think it was 2-2 in penalties, and then eventually the Blues ran away with it. So you're a New South Welshman?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Born and bred.
I just had to make sure. I've got a few mates born in New South Wales and go for Queensland. It's
just very sad. See, there's a bit of an age difference between you and I, and that's why they grew up when that was just shocking. I at least got a few years before New South Wales had that horror run.
When the first ever footy game I remember watching was around 2008. I remember Darren Lockyer, the old square telly, the Broncos Storm. I think it was 2009 or 9. Then 2010. That's the first big win I remember against your poor Tigers. And Nastas nailed it. The almost 100-minute game.
Honestly, one of the greatest games ever played.
And my dad's mate was here at the time, Balmain. And we were down. I think it was 14-4. And then somehow Carney and then Anasta did their thing, Minicella, and that was unbelievable. Can
you admit it now, though, all these years later, that scrum should have been repacked?
In today's game, yes.
No. Even back then.
A little, yeah. A part of me wants to say, yeah. Like, it just seemed a bit too forced. How Nuasala, I think it was Nuasala, yeah, he got onto the ball. And then, I mean, look at the shot on JWH. But was it Dwyer?
Yeah. Great shot.
How many years is he getting for that?
Well, look, you're right. I mean, he gets the chin. But see, to me, like, again, I would love to see the shoulder charge come back. Bring that back. Have a little bit of extra leeway with contact around the head. I mean, there was a tackle the other week. I'm not sure who it was, but it was literally 2 fingers glancing the forehead. That's not hurting anyone.
No. And it's like, even there was a tackle in the Melbourne Tigers game, and he, like, tackled him, and his head just got driven into the ground. And then he was like, no, sorry, it was a dangerous tackle. And then 2 weekends ago, Newcastle game, Ponga put a hit on it. It was, too much force.
Too much force, yeah.
It's like, what?
Which is, I mean, that's the entire point
of
the sport.
Exactly.
Like, I want to be, if I'm a player, right, I want to go out there and I don't want to intentionally hurt someone, but I want to make them feel like they've been hit.
Yeah, it's a funny one, but I don't know. Are you worried about Origin this year? Do you think it could be like a 38-32 score? Or
look, I would really not want to see that. I mean, I'm with you. I want to see that gradual grind. Who gets over the top? I want something that's brutal. I want it to be vicious without it being illegal. I want those big shots. I mean, I still remember, I think it was 2004, Sonny Bill Williams on Joel Clinton with the big shoulder charge and the spray goes everywhere off the hair. Like, those are enduring moments for me, more so than tries. Yeah. I don't care too much about the try. I care about the quality of the contest overall. Have you engrossed me into it? If you can do that, then you've won me as a fan. Yeah. That's what it should be. It's not about, oh, wow, look, another try there. The game I called on the weekend, that was like 60 points in it, and it was a reasonable game, but it wasn't because of the points. It was because there were some great runs. I think 5 props got tries, for example, which is unheard of.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think there is a case like some games, if it's like really entertaining, like even Dolphins, the way they play their footy, like Katoa at the minute, like if it's like a bit of a high-scoring fest, then yeah, maybe it's a decent game. But when you have 2 of the big dogs going at it and defense is out the window, a few errors, it's just, it's almost like I want to watch AFL. No, I'm kidding.
Don't say such blasphemy.
No, I couldn't do that, mate. So let's talk expansion. All right. 17th team, Finns came in. They've had you'd give them a B+, you'd say. They haven't played finals yet.
I'd say A, to be honest.
A, yeah.
Well, like actually putting the fan base around them, I was very skeptical. I'll tell you this much. I hated the Dolphins before they came in the comp. Hated them before they played a game.
There you go. Do you feel like Redcliffe Dolphins should have been the name?
That's why.
That's what I wanted.
In order to quote unquote have a broader reach, I feel like you alienated people like me, right? And maybe I'm just cynical. That's probably part of it. But again, I like tradition. I like knowing that where is that team coming from? And people can say, oh, you're West Tigers, so therefore what are you? The inner west and western suburbs? Well, yeah, that's actually exactly what we are.
That's what it is, yeah.
But, and it still works with the moniker. But for Dolphins, why not just call yourself either, the Southeast Dolphins or the Redcliffe Dolphins? Something that gives you somewhere to go. There's even talk now about, does St. George really reflect the Dragons and should they become the South Coast Dragons? I would actually be in favour of that. But yeah, I still don't like that the Dolphins are just Dolphins.
Yeah, it is like, some people might think they're the Miami Dolphins. Who knows? Like, they're the Redcliffe. Everyone calls them Redcliffes. Like, even commentators all say it, Redcliffe.
And the feeder club is?
Redcliffe. So, yeah, there you go. It's even Dragons. That's another one with the merge. I think we can – there's been 2 merges. Both clubs have won a premiership, mind you. But now, yeah, some of the fans, they want change. They want, a name change as well. Like, I could cop Illawarra Dragons or just
see, that's where you go wrong though. If you go Illawarra, bloodbath.
Then you forget about
you need a new team name, a new slate.
Split. A lot of people say the board they still can't in agreement. Like even Dean Young, he almost didn't get the interim coaching job.
The problem is though, Dean Young is on a hiding to nothing. They released a market last night, right? So I was watching the Matty John show, and I think it was like $10 for them to get a win against Penrith. Bizarrely enough, only like $3.75 against the Warriors. I think that's way too low. Yeah. But then to not win a game for the rest of the season was $12. Jeez. To me, that's actually looking pretty good. I don't know who they beat.
Do they get someone during Origin period, maybe? Maybe that's their only luck.
Do we have the draw for Origin right now?
We don't, but we've got the draw from Magic Round. But we'll... Do they beat
I
Penrith?
can't see it. Do they beat Penrith? No. They don't beat Penrith.
The last time I saw odds like that were last year. Roosters Penrith. Roosters were $11. Pretty much playing a reserve grade side. And we beat Penrith.
It's sometimes the one you least expect. I'll tell you this, I think of the other 16 teams, the most likely one they'll beat, and I don't know if they play the Dogs again, but it would be the Dogs. I think they're awful. They're an awful football team, the Dogs.
Yeah, let's get into it, eh? So round 10, the Dogs versus the Finns, 44-12. And look, even Lachlan Gowin's Instagram tag is still Lachlan Gowin 6, right? He's playing 7. Like, when's Serrato just going to pull the trigger? Because so many players have played out of position everywhere. Is he just getting puppied by Feel Good?
I think you're spot on. Anybody with two eyes, and I was onto this straight away last season, why would you possibly, when you're sitting up the top of the ladder, you've got Toby Sexton guiding the team well, Marnie giving nice quick delivery, good service, and it's all working like clockwork.
It flowed well.
Why would you change your winning formula? You brought in Galvin, you disrupted the Tigers in the process, and this isn't even me being salty, right? This is just, I've got two eyes. The moment he arrived, the Dogs looked like they were just desperately trying to make a top 8 position as opposed to, no, we are bossing things, we are directing traffic, we're in control, and they've never recovered. And as much as you try and force him to be a halfback, it's not a natural skill for Galvin. And it's not even his fault, but at the moment, I would say he's the most overhyped and overrated player in the competition.
Yeah,
and he could be a great player. He could be.
He could be. Well, that's where it all started, right, James? It's when Feel Good said he's the greatest teenager footballer I've ever seen.
Which, did he not watch Benji Marshall when he first came on the scene? Did he not watch Carmichael Hunt, Brad Fittler? Yeah.
And then from there, that's when Gus obviously knocked on Galvin's door, and then that whole process happened. And look, luckily for Tigers' sake, they locked up Buller. Because after his, so creamy, so fluid comments, I thought Buller was going to be in blue and white very soon.
Well, look, and again, I mean, we were talking about this when he's got that position within the media, right, to have influence by making statements, and it's an unofficial courtship, if you will.
Yeah.
And there was all this talk about, we're going to crack down on it. So you're right, when you start glossing Jareem Buller, and then all of a sudden he's linked to the Dogs. I'm with you. I think Buller's a really talented player. I don't know what the final fee was. I don't ever think he was worth 900. I think maybe 800 would have been a good price for Buller. But yeah, look, I mean, you've got to go back to the well. For me, if I'm Cameron Ciraldo, and I know I'm not, and I know probably no one cares what I think because I'm not the coach, but, I call enough reserve grade to see it. Conti is a terrific young player.
Yeah.
He's a genuine halfback. He's got great footwork. He's very quick. He controls the game well. He can kick. Put Alex Conti at halfback, and then from there, I don't care if you put Burden at 5'8" or Galvin at 5'8".
I think,
Doesn't matter, but you need a general to steer the ship, and that's what Conti is. I think he's a better player than Mitch Woods. Everyone's been talking about Woods.
Yeah.
I thought Cassius Tia, stronger than Woods. Joseph O'Neill, stronger than Woods. I think the Dogs have ushered out 3 really good halves in the past 12 months, and I don't know why.
Just to get that, the hype of Galvin. It is a funny one, man. But look, they got given a smoking by Katoa. He's been playing well. If you throw a Katoa in the Dogs, there you go, right? But
throw Katoa in the Blues, I wouldn't be upset either.
Yeah, that's that. And then the Titans, they lost 28-12. The Chooks won to the Titans up at Gosford. I was there, and look, it was going into it. I had a funny feeling. I'm like, I smell an upset here, and Chooks, we got lucky with that Toya try.
More than lucky, mate.
Try.
More than lucky.
Were you watching the game? Did you catch it? Or
that was
saw the replay.
Definite separation.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say. Obviously, it was a no try.
Okay, good. At least you're not a one-eyed chook.
No. He lost separation with the arm and didn't regain it before he knocked it on. Right, and I do wonder how sometimes the bunker just gets something so simple. Like
do you want the honest fans answer for you?
Yeah.
It's because you're the Roosters. So you, Penrith, Melbourne, you tend to get the benefit of the doubt, the rub of the green in those situations. I mean, there was another one even with Keanu Kinney, right? And I know Tupou can't disappear, but I can guarantee you, if that's a Dragons, if it's a Titans, If it's maybe Tigers of last year, not so much sure this year, because it does seem that the officiating, I'm sure my mate Luke, who is a ref, will probably scold me for this, but it seems like if the momentum of a team is in an upward trajectory, they tend to get more of those 50-50 calls.
Yeah.
And because you've had these power clubs like the Roosters, Broncos, Melbourne, whoever else, Penrith, for a long time being in those positions, automatically they think, oh, well, they know what they're doing. We'll give it to them.
Yeah, that is true. They have Uncle Nick on the phone, the bunker. Come on, guys. Give
Another
it a try.
another forward.
Yeah, but look, I think that really took it out of the Titans. It was pretty close there, and then Chooks ran away with it. I think Chooks are due for a loss soon. But
what are you now, 6 straight, I think it is?
yeah, 6 straight, third on the ladder. I think Penrith will probably cruise in first place for most of the season. I don't see anyone really stopping them. I tipped Canberra on Sunday, but even then, Penrith were just like, all right, we'll go try for try, and then they just turned it up at the back end there. And then Para. Traditionally on the podcast, I always, if I'm going to tip Para, and it's a close one, I'll say Mitch Moses by 1. Right, Mitch Moses field goal. It's a bit of a running joke, and look, he hit one, and he still did the Cinderella. He still milked it. 33-30 up at Townsville. I mean, Para, no one really tipped him to get that one.
Well, they ruined my perfect round. I got 7 from 8.
Yep.
And that was the one that did me. Look, I think the Cowboys are in a bit of trouble now. No Tommy Dearden.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough moving forward. Para, they're tough to pick. I mean, I think they'll have a really good side in 2 or 3 years. They've got so many good young players. Joash Papali, I mean, he's electric at the back. Yeah. And then, you consider he's in theory their second choice. You got Yongi there in front of him. Sam Rani can play second row, can play centre. They've just got a lot of really good weapons. De Silva is hot and cold. If he gets it right and Moses doesn't go off at him, he looks pretty good. And Volkman, in terms of his form, he's been great. That's why Pezzard's now back in reserve grade. Like, he's just too good. You can't switch it.
Yeah, it's a funny one, though. I did tip Para to make the 8 this year, but a bit of a rocky start. Maybe next year or so, like you said, 2 or 3 years. And then this one, I almost tipped Saints, and then I thought, no.
You're a brave man.
Brave. I do like to go bold sometimes. But then Nui, 44-10 down in Wynn Stadium. And dearie me, it's credit to the South Saints fans. They packed out the hill. Lovely Saturday arvo then. They just dish up that Gutho at centre. First time at centre since 2018, Fox was saying. And, yeah, God, it's going to be a long year for Dino.
The problem is, right, I don't think it's a lack of effort. They literally don't have the cattle. I don't see who they're beating. Again, I sort of mentioned the Dogs as maybe an option for them, that is the closest they came, right? That was Las Vegas 15-14. So they just don't have that X factor. I mean, Terrell Sloan can be that player for them, but how do you unleash him? You haven't really got the cattle in the halves. Again, for me, I've mentioned him before for the Dogs. Joseph O'Neill is floating about. I think he may be injured at the moment. If he's not, I bring him straight in at halfback. I think Atkinson can be a very good player, but he's more a runner. Put him at 5'8". Sully, in theory, we've seen him bust through tackles before. So they could get there, but if you just look at their roster, 1 through 17 or the top 30 even, and you compare it to the rest.
It's a bit of a mere roster, isn't it?
Exactly. Like there's not much of a ceiling to sort of reach for. You're kind of already at like a 7 out of 10. Yeah. Even your 10 out of 10 might still just be middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Chooks may verse them again. I'm not too sure, but it was a good day, Anzac Day. It's
a good day for you.
It was, but it also was a bit of we flogged them, yeah, but on Anzac Day you want a close contest. It got a bit boring by the end. We almost put 70 on him. But
well, it's that Simpsons meme, isn't it? Stop, he's already dead.
Yeah, he's already dead. Yeah, that's right. And then the next one, Souths 36, Cronulla 12. Souths are humming at the minute. Wayne's got them up and about. Because I went Sharks 13+, and Sharks just looked...
Can I ask how many tips did you get last week?
I got, I think 6 from 8.
Okay.
No, because my sports bet was 13+ Sharks, but Souths.
Right. Okay, so you did tip Souths.
I just had this last minute feeling, which it could have been the beers, I don't know. But yeah, Cronulla just, after what they did to Tigers, they just looked they looked so flat.
Well, I mean, look, there's one thing that's consistent about the Sharks, they're inconsistent. They're up one week, down the next, even moment to moment, right? And I think a lot of that comes around Nico. If he's firing, Sharks are firing, but you probably want him to be firing every single week, right? As $1 million man.
Are you a big Nico fan?
I think he can be a fantastic player.
Yeah.
But, consistency is now his biggest issue for mine. When he won the Dally M, we saw that consistency, and he was brilliant that year. So we know how good he can be. He's shown that this year, shown it last year, and it's not just him, of course. It's other players that are also seeing lapses in defence and maybe not running the line that he wants them to run. But, the Sharks are just hot and cold, and I think a lot of that is sort of, it's a microcosm from Nico.
It's been the issue for a while now, Cronulla. They'll get to the finals and you think, week one, they'll be out of it. I think last year they were pretty close. I think they won week one. And then they went down to Melbourne and they'll win it for a bit and then Storm were just too good. But, yeah, you're right. Once they get that going, find their consistency, then they could be up there. Mulatalo, he'll be back soon.
I still think they'll play finals. But, again, it's how do they turn up on the day?
Yeah. And then this one, mate, Fosball. Manly 32, Broncos 4. I was at the game. Brookie was buzzing. The word Foz it's getting around, mate. And so I think now it's safe to say that Manly, the Pens, Scott Penn made the right call of flicking Seabold after round 3. And then now look at them, they're 5 out of 6, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and
only Penrith for that matter. That's the only one they've dropped.
Yeah, and they lost by 2. And I did tip Manly that week as well. But I'll be the cheering. Like if Manly won, I'd get the last laugh. But yeah, I don't know. I was watching it. I saw this afternoon actually. Brett Stewart gave a pre-game speech to Torovic for his 250th, and he was saying like, "What are you going to say to Jake at full time?" Like a really emotional speech, and I think that's all it took, right? Old Snake gave the speech, and Bronx looked like how they were playing this time last year when they were in that bit of a form patch. 20 errors they made, Broncos.
And look, we can talk about the players that Broncos were missing, but again, the errors that shouldn't correlate. You want the finesse if you've got Reynolds and Cobe back in the side, but you still got to hold the ball to have the finesse. But yeah, I think with Manly, I might have had a question mark initially about Foreign coming in and how much is this of, but like how much of it comes down to the emotion, right, of having a club legend back running the team. But after 6-7 weeks, I think it now becomes quite clear it's more than just emotion. He knows what he's doing. They're responding to whatever he's trying at training, and it is as simple as that. Sometimes you just need a change, and for me, Seabold was probably never the way to go, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I know that sounds very easy to say in hindsight, but you talk to Manly fans, and I don't think they're ever 100% on board with it.
They weren't. No, it's I was at the game, Seibs' last game, Roosters Manly on the hill, and I was walking around with the mic, and everyone was going, Seibs out. And this preseason actually, Bella Seabold, she was on here for a chat, and I think I did feel for her, like she was, she was saying all the preseason, putting in the work, etc. And then she was keen to see, Manly's premiership ring at the end of the year, but sometimes that's the way it goes. That was she came on talking about, especially when he was at Brisbane. And the day she found out that he got the sack, she was just at school at Manly, and she had media knocking on her front door.
Oh, see, that's not good.
No, but I think he's on Agenda Setters tonight or tomorrow night.
Right.
So I think he's found his little gig on. Do you watch Agenda Setters?
No, I mean, just honestly purely because I don't have the time. That's as simple as it gets.
There's so many, like there's that one. I don't think Channel 7 have done a league show since Matty Johns had his
Is
show.
Kiri off that now? Because he's gone with Fox, so he wouldn't be on that anymore.
Well, no, I think, you may, I only saw one app, but I know Kiri, he's got his finger in a few
Woodsy,
pies.
David Riccio, Corey Parker, I think, and Luke Kiri.
I think also Kiri, because Kiri's doing Triple M, Fox and 7, so.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's exciting with 7. Obviously, they've got the Rugby League World Cup rights, which is a little disappointing that we've got so few teams, I think, because they had a slightly different way they would qualify this time around.
Teams, yeah.
Yeah, which, if it's me, though, I want to see a Turkey, a Jamaica. I want to see these strange teams playing with players I've never seen before because it's fun.
You want to
get amongst it. Well, yeah, that's part of it too, sure. But it's fun to see a different culture. I can tell you now, just from heading over to Nottingham and being around the World Cup there, probably the best week I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And we then did 3.5 weeks of Europe, and probably still the funnest week I had over in Europe, and I had a great time.
The best time, and it would be a good feeling knowing you love rugby league, grown up around it, and you're in Sydney, and then you're on the other side of the world playing footy. It's how cool is this, right? Yeah,
imagine having a Kosovo or a Ukraine floating about, good fun.
Yeah, it'd be good. And so the second last game, your poor old Tigers, 44-16. I thought there was maybe a comeback.
We were on a hiding to nothing. So I'll be very clear with this. I tipped the Storm. I don't always pick my team. I also picked Sharks to beat us as well. So I'm a realist. When you've got no Appy, no Buller, no Dewey, you got no Terrell May, no Samuela Fainu, who for mine is actually one of the best second rowers in the comp now. I think if he was still injury-free, I think he'd deserve to be in at least conversation for a bench spot for Origin. But you destroy all the strike weapons from that side, and what you're left with is not a great deal of strike. Taylor May had a great game. I know Madden has been wonderful so far this season, but you can't remove that much quality from a team. And I know Storm have been going like bustards, but people seem to forget, they've been up for 10 years. They were in the grand final last year, and yes, they've lost Eli Katoa. Yes, they've lost Asofa Solomona, but Asofa Solomona played 5-10 games max last year.
Yeah, and Pappy as well. Yeah, I think, Storm, they were going through a bit of a losing streak there. And if Tigers were at full strength,
I would have picked them.
Yeah, I think I would have as well. But the big three, they were looking good. Munster found a bit of form again, skipping around his best. Alongside, Hughes and Fa'alogo. He's been their best all season.
He's electric. If he's on, he's just completely on. So, a lot of people will talk about Pappenhausen missing, and for where Sua is right now compared to where Pappy was, obviously Pappy's going to be the better of the two players, but he's already performing terrifically, and he's only going to get better.
I think you may be commentating Pappy later this year. I think you said he might want to play touch.
Yeah, State Cup might be coming back. Look, I've called Benji's brother, Jordan Marshall King. He's a very good touch player. If you haven't seen it, have a look at Tamatoa Ropati. He's
you've nailed that one.
Well, he's just exceptional though. So, we talk about Benji's footwork. I would probably say he's got better footwork than Benji in his prime.
Wow.
And he's faster. So I just came back from Mudgee a couple of weeks ago calling the Asia Pacific Touch Open, and this dude's phenomenal.
Is he also playing League 2, or is he just
I believe he plays for the New Zealand Defence Force team.
Right,
for League. Okay. Yeah. So, look, if there's an agent out there, if you want to sign someone, I think he's now in his late 20s, but it's not as if he hasn't got the talent there, and he's probably still got a good 5 or 6 years. Look at Cody Walker. He was getting on to mid to late 20s by the time he got a crack.
Yeah. He's been an old fella now. And then the last game to wrap things up, the Milk, Canberra. This was, I think, game of the round. And then, Penrith 30-18 held them to nothing in the second half. Really good first half. 100% completion rate from both sides going into the sheds. I just think Penrith there, I feel like Cleary, that's all right, we can go neck and neck for a bit, and then they just seem to just want to turn it up. It's a scary prospect knowing they're probably going to be in another grand final.
Yeah. Look, at the moment, I don't see who's going to topple them. For me, I would like to see someone else in the grand final just because it's been there so often.
Roosters.
No.
But then again, no, I do see that. It'd be great to see a team like the Warriors get it done this year, right?
I think so, yeah. Something different, right? And remove my allegiance from the Tigers. I think as a general good news story for most league fans, they'd like to see a perennial struggler come in, whether it be the Tigers, whether it be even the Titans. They can be flashy times. I think the Dolphins would be great to see them in a grand final, only a few years into existence.
Third year, is it the third or fourth? I think third.
23, fourth maybe.
Yeah. Do you think, who said, I can't recall who said this, but someone said that the Chiefs' first year they'll win the comp.
I think there's been a fair bit of that. Do we touch on the expansion dilemma right now?
You know what? We'll dive into the expansion and then look towards the Magic Round. We got a bit of Magic Round merch here from last year.
Mm.
Haven't been. Have you been?
No, I haven't been yet.
No.
I've been involved in a couple of New South Wales Cup Magic Rounds.
Yeah, nice.
That one is happening this week as well if you want to get out there. North Sydney Oval, every game.
Oh, they do a bit of festival and stuff?
Yeah, so
What-
typically you have the Newtown one, the Beer Footy Food Festival.
Mm.
I think they're doing 2 potentially this year. One of them is this Magic Round. There's another one up in Tamworth where they'll have every game except for one.
Yeah, okay, nice. So Chiefs. I was a bit like, skeptical about it all, and then they signed Luai. I thought, oh, here we go. Luai was going to stay at the Tigers forever.
Mm.
Just on the side here, do you think this Luai signing's a bit of a curse for the Tigers this year? Like the Galvin situation? Well, that did the opposite, right?
It would appear that way based on the 2 results since.
Mm.
But again, you've had a lot of players out.
Yeah, it's
So,
injuries, yeah.
and it's also very different circumstances. Luai has been a big supporter and a big defender of Benji when other people have come after him.
Yeah.
Appy has as well. But, there's none of that sort of negative criticism around Galvin undermining the coach and then wanting to jump ship. For me, I think good on Luai. You're now getting into your 30s. You've probably got one more big contract left in you. This will be the one with the Chiefs.
Go chase
Get the money while you can. And I think even aside from that, though, it's really exciting to be the face of a new franchise and build something from the ground up. I think that's a really good challenge. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? If you go out on your own as an entrepreneur and you build your own business, that means, in my opinion, more than just going to work for someone else, right?
Yeah, that's it. You have a sense of pride in doing it when you're doing your own thing. And so do you think the Chiefs, is it going to work? The players, obviously the tax incentive, that's been a big talking point. The players are going to live in this resort. Like, it's unique.
Well, I mean, look, you're there for the money by and large. That's the simple thing. I think with Alex Johnston, a little bit different. We know he's a very proud Kummel, for example. It's a weird one. I'll tell you this much. I don't like that it's completely tax-free because I think it's completely screwed the Bears. I don't know what's going to happen to them now.
That's well, I think this week the Bears, some of the chair, they're going to have talks with Peter V'landys, so you might see like some sort of tax incentive come in, maybe. But how do you say to someone, all right, you can go to Perth? It's not like it's down the road. You're on the other side of Australia, in AFL heartland. Like this is a lot tougher than the PNG.
Yeah.
One for sure.
For the benefit of the game, right, the biggest benefit you can do now is make sure the Bears are a success. And we saw that with Melbourne Storm when they first came in, right? Second year, they win the premiership, and they got some concessions at the time. The Titans got concessions when they came in. The Dolphins had some concessions.
I think they'll get it.
Well, what I would like to see, right, is the first 3 years you are playing with a slightly increased salary cap, or there's bigger exemptions for it, or alternatively, some sort of tax deduction, which I don't want to come out of your pocket and my pocket, but however you're going to work it, just give more in the salary cap, maybe for those first 3 seasons. So you can provide overs, right? Get the players over there. And they have signed some good players without the X factor yet. By the same token, it's completely unfair with PNG. I think you also need to help them establish things to begin with, but after, say, 3 or 4 years, they need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So I would scale back the tax incentive.
Like, I think, isn't it for 10 years? That's unreal.
Imagine if you win 6 premierships in that time.
I mean, they're going to sign. Their team's going to be stacked. I think you'll see a lot of players. I saw before we started recording, Spencer put a post on Instagram. Love heart with the Roosters. So, that's maybe him saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. But I think, a few Penrith players, I think 11 players off contract. So November 1, you'll see a lot going to PNG, but Perth, it's, I think, 17 out of 30 of their squad's field at the minute, and they're starting pre-season. Not too long away. And Bracey, you can tell, James Bracey, Channel 9 fame, he
was very fired up.
Very fired up against Gal. And Gal, there's not much between those ears. And I just thought he was just trying to throw whatever at Bracey and see what could stick. But Bracey does have a point. Like, you can't just... The players aren't going to, be in Perth in their gears and stuff because they're still contracted at their respective clubs.
Correct. And, they want to talk about Luai parading the PNG Chiefs. Well, no, he was paraded for Papua New Guinea by the Prime Minister, by their CEO, and as they should, right? If you want to tout a signing, you can. And let's not act like they haven't touted sightings. I know Tyrone Wishart's going there, Nick Meaney, the Laulalili brothers, for example. So, there's 4 off the top of my head without trying. They've got the 17 in there. I don't know. They need more quality. As it stands, the Dragons will win a game next year.
Well, they're already like, I saw a post last night, they're like Winks odds for the Spoon next year. And even
like
I think
$2 or something.
I thought Geordie, who's a regular on here as well, we were discussing, like when the Bears came in, Mal got appointed. Even I thought Mal wasn't the right guy. I see him as more of a rep coach, right? And now you've been steering the ship of a whole city here, Perth, and a few games at North Sydney, but I thought maybe Brad Arthur.
I was going to say exactly that. I think Brad Arthur, and you have Mal Meninga as, say, head of football or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of ambassadorial role where everyone knows who he is and they like Mal, but I don't think anybody in their entire career has suggested he's a brilliant tactician. Look at that Origin side he had.
Mate, yeah, exactly.
You and I probably could have coached them to at least half the Origin victories they had.
I grew up through it. I never saw the Blues. The first Blues series I saw was 2014 when Hodkinson left foot step back.
Was that game?
It was unreal. That was the first time ever. Like the years of Pearce here, and then just so close. Cronk sinking that field goal and Golden Point up at Suncorp. But yeah, no, Mal, yeah, he did well for Queensland. We'll see if he does all right for Perth. But as a rugby league purist, I'm gonna get the popcorn and just watch it. It's either gonna go really well or it's gonna explode.
I wanted to go well. I think.
Oh, same here. And the Bears are
if they finish about 10th, right? I'd be really happy with that as just a general league fan.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by The Legal Problem Solver. The team brings over 25 years of experience in wills, probate, estates, conveyancing, property and commercial law. Connect with The Legal Problem Solver on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram.
Good one this weekend. Magic Round. Great initiative, right? I saw these AFL blokes talking about how the NRL should do one. Obviously, they live under a rock. Right, some boys from Adelaide. It's like, hello, Magic Round was here for. Well, it came from the Super League actually. I think it's a great thing. I really want to go. I think I'm going to circle it for next year. It's different to like your Queensland, New South Wales. There's a bit of that hatred, right? In blue, but it's more of a festival.
It's just a celebration of the greatest game of all.
Yeah, well, it is the greatest game of all. And Sharkies, so $1.48, dogs $2.67. I can't pick this. Part of me wants to go doggies upset, or do Cronulla find that form again? Who are you going to back, James?
I'll go Sharks, but I'm sort of with you on this one. Not with a great deal of confidence because you don't know how the Sharks will turn up. And for the Dogs, we saw what they did against Penrith. Again, I still think at the moment they're the second worst team in the comp, just in front of the Dragons.
I agree, yeah.
But how it turns out, I don't know. I'll still go Sharks, though.
Sharky, yeah. I'm going to go...
You like an upset?
I'm going to go doggies upset. 1-12. Dogs 1-12. I think, they've been scrutinised for a while now. I think Stephen Crichton might have a game of the year. Just turn it up. He looked half injured still against Finns. Some of those soft tries down the side. Even Cobbo. He's not the quickest fella, but he just steamed past him. But yeah, no, dogs for me. And then this should be a good one. South's $1.70, Dolphins $2.16. What are you thinking?
Is Latrell back?
I think he'll be back for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
South. And with a fair degree of confidence. I think Dolphins are lethal with ball in hand, but South's, I would say, easily top 4 at this point.
Yeah. They do look good, and I'm going to back them as well. I'm going to go Souths. I think it'll be a close one. I think Finns, they're in some great form as well. They've tightened up their D. That's the issue they had last year. They're leaking too many points. So I'm going to go Latrell Mitchell by 1.
Oh.
Yep.
In Golden Point, or does he get it beforehand?
I think just beforehand.
Oh, okay.
And it might be at like the 35-metre line. He does like a 2-pointer.
Does.
But we'll just go by
So
1.
did Greg Inglis, even when it wasn't on offer?
Yes. that wasn't that a funny one? SCG.
When you're behind, too. Just keep the ball.
Yeah. But back then, did he get it or did he miss it?
No, he missed it anyway. But it was only like 20 or 30 metres out. So even if it was today's rules, you still would have got it.
That's a funny one. And then your Tigers, mate, $3.28. Manly $1.34 up against the Fosbor.
I think Manly's price will come in before kickoff. So, again, I'm a very, very, very fanatical Tigers fan.
Hard in your sleeve.
But, still no Appy, still no Dewey, I should say. Still no Samuela Fainu. I think Terrell is back. No Buller. So, it's basically the same team that just got touched up by the Storm, and I don't see much of an improvement there. What I will say, and this is a shameless plug, if you are floating about around the inner west, or around the northwest, if you will, West Ashfield this weekend, hosting an event with Keith Galloway and Bryce Gibbs, so they'll be sharing some fun stories, and we'll preview the game there as well, and we'll certainly go through some of their more colourful moments in their careers.
Yeah, good. I might have to pop by. I've never been at West Ashfield. I always get the train past it though.
Mate,
I know exactly where it is.
Hop off.
Yeah, and then here they'll be good with Keithy. He can talk about how much Feel Good loves him.
I've already got the video lined up.
Keithy.
So we've got that. We've got
Keithy.
We've actually got they don't know this, of course, but I've got video of himself and Bryce Gibbs having a punch on at training.
I've never seen that.
So that'll be good fun. I want to find out why that happened. And of course, you might remember Gibbs v. O'Mealy years ago, and O'Mealy ended up winning the battle, but I want to hear
Against
what
Dogs?
Gibbs has to say. Yes.
Yeah. That'll be a good one. And then the Chookies on Saturday to kick things off. $1.24. Cowboys $4.20.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
No Dearden, no chance.
Yeah. 13 plus. 13 plus?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Parramatta, $2.66. Melbourne, $1.48. Storm won well against Tigers, but there were still moments of the game where I wasn't too convinced. I think it was just the win they needed. I think Para will be a good test for them. They've always had a few good matchups over the years. What are you thinking?
I'm going to say 20-18 Storm just getting it. Going to be tight, and I think Para will test them. I actually think this will be a really good quality game. I think Storm will continue to improve. I think I actually think they'll be up for this one, but I might even just give the edge to Storm based on so much of their team being of a Queensland background. Maybe they just rise being up there.
Big game from Grant. Yeah. I'm going to go Storm as well. 1-12 though, in a close one. And then the Titans, $3.50. Shall I say the Gold Coast Chargers, because they're wearing their heritage
Great
kit.
strip, by the way. Looks
great
awesome.
Great strip. And against Nui, $1.31. Is this kit going to do things for him? Or?
It's going to bring back the old Preston Campbell. I mean, Kitty plays pretty similar to him. So I think high scoring will be the simple thing. I'm thinking like a 40-30 kind of score.
Yeah.
Knights, still for mine. They look good this year, the Knights.
No, they do look good, Nui. And Holbrook, I think. Great appointment. Up against his old club that I reckon he should have never left. I think Titans
he was poorly dealt with.
Yeah. The Titans, they just love to go through coaches. Even appointing Desi, it's like... But yeah, I think Nui in a close one, but high scoring. So if you're going to bet out there, guys, go overs. And then Warriors, $1.71. Broncos, $2.14. What are we thinking?
I think Reynolds is still out.
Yeah, Hunt, will he play? I don't think he should have played last week, but...
See, man for mine is, I'd say he's now a top 10 player in the competition. I think Ezra Mann, I think he's great talent. But without that guiding hand of Reynolds, and especially the kicking game in those tighter moments, I think the Wires.
Yeah, I think Bronx get it done at home. Sunday Arvo, could be a dry track. I think Walsh will turn it up. I'll go Bronx just.
Okay.
And then to finish things off, people are calling this the game of the year. Penrith, $1.04. Dragons, $10.50. It came in a little bit from yesterday at 11. Here's a bit more of a wiser question. Do Penrith rest players?
No.
No.
I think too early in the year, you want to build that momentum. And, I mean, in theory, right, if you're going to have an easier opposition, put them to the sword.
Show a bit of, Yeah, I think you're right. I don't see a world where Saints win at all. I see 60.
I can see it, but it would take one of the worst performances from Penrith ever and one of the best from the Dragons ever.
Could be complacency. Like maybe Penrith, do they bend her on through the weekend? Do they see how well they go hungover? Like, they're never going to do that right.
They go, Preston's not here, so therefore we've got to live how he would be living.
Yeah, and there you go. It's just even Saints, he's like Gutho might be spotted Friday night, Caxton doing the Gutherino, just warming up to things for the Sunday's game. But yeah, 13 plus.
Yeah. Is there a 40 plus?
I think, honestly, you pull up Sportsbet, there'd be
a market for it. There's a market for everything now.
First to 60, first to 70, probably like a 50 to 6 or something. They might get a late draw. Poor old Saints. It's going to be a long year. I don't see them getting out of it anytime soon.
Again, still, I can see them not winning a game this year. Maybe, as you said, during the origin period, maybe toward the back end of the season when teams have already sewn up their top 4 or minor premiership and they want to rest players. Maybe then, but just in terms of the cattle.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And the finishing's off, mate. One bold prediction for this weekend.
Bold prediction?
It can be on the field. It could be off the field. It could be a scandal waiting to happen.
Okay. I think we'll see a streaker.
A streaker?
Yep.
I like that.
They might still have clothes on. That seems to have gone out of fashion, getting rid of the kit, but I think we'll see one. There's enough booze going around.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of booze, mate. James, mate, thank you very much for coming on the RMTV podcast.
Pleasure.
It's, mate, bit of a journey we went on. And, hopefully the Tigers come well. I do want to see them in the top 8 this year, mate. Hopefully they don't get that 9th that they love.
Yeah, it's been a thing pretty close to our hearts for a long time. I'll take that over the wooden spoon, but yeah.
A few years back they got, what was it, back-to-back spoon?
3 might have been.
Oh, that's
it's bad. Look, I still think we're in for a bit of a rough period, though. I think until we get Dewey and Buller and Appy back, certainly Appy, I don't see another win until Appy comes back, actually, as a minimum.
Yeah, everyone will be happy when Appy's back, eh? All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning into the RMTV podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications from Presto and Presto. It's good night.